Welcome to 5 Christmas stories you won't believe. We start with a complete, hilarious fail brought to you by the U.S. military in the middle of the Cold War. In 1956, the U.S. Air Force was running a goodwill effort called Operation Santa Claus to resupply remote radar stations in Alaska. The mission was to airdrop a massive parachute-equipped crate containing supplies and a bottle of holiday cheer for the crew. Due to a navigation error, the plane missed its drop zone and released the giant supply crate directly over the nearby town of Nenana, Alaska. The massive crate, designed to survive a fall from the sky, crashed straight through the roof of the town's community hall, causing major property damage and ruining their Christmas celebration plans. The biggest irony? The primary items that survived the crash and were found intact in the debris were a giant, comically oversized can of beer and a single bottle of whiskey. But before the shivering, roofless townspeople could even think about a free drink, the military immediately descended and rigidly recovered every last drop of the alcohol. They paid for the property damage, but the citizens of Nenana were left with no free liquor, only a priceless, unbelievable story about the day the U.S. government accidentally delivered, and then undelivered, a giant beer can right into their Christmas party. Next, how the first Christmas light display caused a panic.
In 1882, Thomas Edison's partner, Edward H. Johnson, decided to show off his new invention by stringing 80 hand-wired red, white, and blue electric bulbs on a Christmas tree in his New York City home. Up until this point, people lit their trees with candles, which, despite being a major fire hazard, was the accepted norm. Johnson's electric display was so new, so radical, and so completely foreign to the public that it didn't inspire holiday cheer. It inspired fear.
Run and get the fire department.
Local papers were skeptical, and many passers-by were terrified, believing the strange glowing contraption was an enormous fire hazard or perhaps an electrical death trap. Johnson had to keep his curtains open so a reporter could stand outside on the street just to verify the lights were real and that the tree wasn't about to explode. It took decades for the public to trust them, but the panic eventually faded, leaving us with the safer, shinier displays we know today. Next, a legal battle for the name Santa Claus in a small American town.
Today, we have a legal showdown over the most iconic name in Christmas. In 1927, the tiny unincorporated community of Santa Claus, Iowa, decided to go official and incorporate as a town. Their efforts were suddenly challenged by a man named Paul W. D. Wegele, who had legally changed his name to Santa Claus several years earlier. Here's the unbelievable part. This Mr. Santa Claus didn't resemble the merry gift giver. He was a regular, clean-shaven man who lived over 200 miles away in Davenport, Iowa. He sued the small community, arguing they were infringing on his name.
I am Santa Claus.
The town, led by its local postmaster, fought back, taking the entire ridiculous name battle all the way to the Iowa Supreme Court.
A man's name is important.
Ultimately, the court ruled that no one could claim ownership over the name Santa Claus.
The name Santa Claus may not be copyrighted.
Dismissing the town's legal claims, the community of Santa Claus, Iowa, never managed to incorporate and eventually faded into history. But the court case ensures the story of the man who sued a town over the name Santa Claus will live forever. Next, the bizarre and failed attempt to build a giant Santa rocket.
We head back to Alaska, this time to the newly established town of North Pole in the 1950s. Town residents decided they needed a massive landmark, something to put them on the map. Their ambitious plan, a 90-foot-tall Santa statue they hilariously nicknamed the Santa Rocket. Unfortunately, the construction did not go as planned. The first attempt at the giant Santa resulted in a bizarre, monolithic structure that looked less like the jolly old elf and more like a massive, red, bell-shaped space capsule. The public quickly ridiculed the strange, futuristic-looking statue, and it was eventually torn down. A smaller, more traditional statue was later constructed, the second attempt at a massive Santa. It still stands in North Pole, Alaska to this day. Next, how a wrong number accidentally launched one of the world's greatest Christmas traditions.
The year was 1955, and a Sears Roebuck ad in a Colorado Springs paper invited children to call Santa. But due to a massive printing error, the number was wrong. Instead of reaching a Sears employee, the phone rang directly into the Emergency Operations Hotline of the Continental Air Defense Command, or CONAD. The man who answered was Colonel Harry Shoup. Annoyed at first, Colonel Shoup was about to hang up until he heard a small boy on the other end asking for Santa.
Is Santa there?
Instead of barking orders, Shoup played along, telling the boy he could see Santa on the radar.
It's my job to track him.
Shoup then instructed his staff to answer every subsequent Santa call and offer a fictional update on his location. That wrong number became an official CONAD program,
Santa is headed your way.
which continued when CONAD transitioned to the North American Aerospace Defense Command, or NORAD, which is why today NORAD still tracks Santa every Christmas Eve. Thank you for watching this series of 5 wacky Christmas stories you won't believe. For more short bites of history, subscribe to the channel.